Often people are saying that breastfeeding is the most natural and beautiful thing that can happen to a woman. Everybody needs to breastfeed. But for me, breastfeeding was one of the hardest challenges I've ever faced in my life, physically and emotionally. For me, this journey had everything. Feeding straight from the breast, feeding from the bottle, for severe mastitis, low milk supply, pumping, all types of pumping, cracked nipples. I feel like I've been through most of the experience that you can have with breastfeeding. It all happened to me, so I feel like I have something to say. I wish I've heard something like that before giving birth, so I would be a little bit more mentally ready for what was about to come with my breastfeeding journey. Let's go. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Jane and I gave birth 7 months ago in China, where I'm living right now with my husband and beautiful daughter. So today I want to talk about the most controversial and the most popular topic when it comes to giving birth is breastfeeding. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Before giving birth, I was all pro-natural, wanted natural delivery, I didn't want epidural, I was thinking only breastfeeding from the breast, no formula, nothing. We're gonna go natural, full out. I was so confident in my power, I was thinking that everything is so easy. Breastfeeding is natural, it's gonna be easy. I'm just gonna put baby to my breast and the baby's gonna be sucking by herself and I'm gonna be just enjoying there, playing with my phone, watching movies and stuff. I was wrong. It wasn't like this at all. So basically I set a goal for myself that I'm going to breastfeed for 6 months and later we are going to see if it's gonna be all fun and easy, then I'll continue. If not, then we will just stop. So my original plan was to breastfeed until 6 months. Then I gave birth as an emergency C-section. And the first 4 days in the hospital, I was attached to my bed full of tubes and drips and I couldn't even move because I was in crazy pain after the surgery. My baby was away from me in the nursing station the whole time. They were taking care of her and the nurses, they had a special schedule where the baby had to eat every 2 hours. So every 2 hours they were bringing baby to me, helping me to latch. The baby was trying to eat from the breast and she was always falling asleep after a few seconds, so she couldn't productively suck my breast and eat enough milk. So after that they always had to supplement her with formula. So every single feed she ate both milk and formula. Sometimes they didn't even bring her to me, they were only giving her formula from the bottle. That was already not good. It could mess up her latch and her feeling of the nipple, like she would get used to the bottle more, but let's not talk about this. Her latch was okay. The problem was not actually her latch, but the shape of my nipple. I don't know why people are not talking about it when they make those breastfeeding videos. I hardly hear about the shape of the nipple. That is so important for breastfeeding. If you have flat or short nipples, it can affect your breastfeeding journey drastically. It's gonna be so tough for baby to latch and you're gonna feel so much discomfort every time when the baby is gonna be latching. I didn't know that and I am one of those women who have flat or short nipples. I don't know which one exactly. It was super difficult for my baby to latch on them and keep like sucking for a long time. And every single time when the baby was approaching my breast, I was feeling crazy fear and anxiety because guys, girls, I hope it's only girls here. The pain that I was feeling, it was insane. I don't want to scare anybody, but I just want you, if you are also like me, I want you to be ready. I wish I could have seen videos like that when I was getting ready to give birth, because I was thinking breastfeeding is gonna be so easy. I don't need to prepare, I don't need any information, I'll just put the baby to the breast and she'll be doing her thing. But it's wrong. You need to prepare mentally and you just need to know what to do, and you just need to know that the pain is not forever, that you can do certain things to ease it. Let's come back to the story. When I came back home after the hospital, I was thinking that the thing's gonna get easier. I was trying to switch totally to the breastfeeding and eliminate the formula. So I kept trying to latch the baby to the breast and it wasn't working. Okay, the baby was fasting, she was mad all the time because she just wanted to eat in comfort. She was hungry and she needed milk in her mouth, but she needed to have so much strength to do that, but she didn't have that strength and she was falling asleep and she was always hungry. She couldn't suck for a long time and me and her were both crying. As soon as I was bringing her to the nipple, she was already fasting, she already felt, you know, some way. And also me, every breastfeeding session, I was feeling so much anxiety. I felt so scared because first of all, the physical pain, second of all, emotionally, it was so hard for me to see that I'm not even able to feed my baby from the breast. That is my fault. The baby's hungry, and like, what kind of woman, what kind of mother I am if I cannot even, breastfeed the baby from my breast. Breastfeeding is the most easy thing that can happen to a woman. It's a natural process, and I cannot do that to my baby. Like, what kind of mother I am? So I was feeling a lot of guilt, mentally, emotionally, and I hated those feeding sessions. I hated them, and I was freaking out about the fact that I will have to do that for the 6 months. Like, how? I don't know even how to survive like this week, literally. And also another thing is that in the hospital, the nurses, they told me, your nipples are flat, you cannot feed like that, just buy a nipple shield. And they told me a particular shape of nipple shield that I had to buy, this one. A spoiler, this nipple shield, it was the wrong one. Later, one doctor told me that I should have never used this shape. I should have rather used this one, because this one is wrong. It can affect the whole breastfeeding, and it did actually. So yeah, first I tried to breastfeed with my breast directly, then I was trying to use the nipple shield. It kept like falling off, and also sometimes she latches and then she doesn't eat, and every time I had to go wash it and then sterilize it, wash it, sterilize it, and it's like an endless circle. It's so much work, so annoying. It was a whole mess. The first month of my baby's life, it was a constant fight between me, her, and my breast. She was still on the breast milk and the formula. I didn't know how much she ate, but it turns out she was always hungry and she never had enough food. And I didn't know that. I was literally starving my girl without knowing that. Because later on, when we went to the first month appointment, the doctor said that she's not gaining enough weight and I need to start feeding her from the bottle. When I asked her formula or breast milk, she said, up to you, you choose, what do you want? But feed her from the bottle so you can see how much milk she ate. She needs to eat 90 milliliters per meal. Honestly, at that point, I felt crazy relief that I don't need to use my breast anymore. I can be just pumping at my own pace and just give her the milk through the bottle. I was thinking life can be so much easier. No pain, the baby gonna be fed. So I was low-key excited. And here my pumping journey started. So the first mistake that I made is buying a very cheap, very basic pump, which has only one flange. I don't know how to say it in English, but it has only one, that you can extract the milk from one breast at a time. So imagine, you could be pumping for 15 minutes from both breasts directly, but instead you have to waste 15 minutes on one breast and then 15 minutes on another breast, and it's already not 15 minutes but 30 minutes for pumping session. And when you have a small crying baby in your arms, this 15 minutes is crucial. You have to be fast as possible. Also, this pump, it wasn't a portable one, it was a pump that you have to hold. It also is attached to the wires. I had to like use the socket. So when I was pumping, I couldn't even move around. And also I had a very low milk supply still. One day I have milk, another day I don't have milk. Imagine one day I feel like, okay, I'm able to feed my baby with only breast milk, no need formula. Then the formula finishes. And when it finishes, I'm pumping and I cannot have any milk. So the baby wakes up hungry, there is no formula, there is no milk. What to do? It was crazy. It was a long journey for us to learn how to manage all these things. So I was struggling until one day I wake up in the morning and I see a package. YG got me a wireless portable pump that you can just put inside your bra. There is no wires, you can be moving around, and the most important, it has 2 pumps, so you can be extracting the milk from 2 breasts at the same time, which can save you a lot of time. I started pumping more, I created a pumping schedule, I started like having more and more milk every time. It was kind of like going well. The only problem is when you're pumping exclusively, you have to note that you will be always pumping and you will not have time to do anything else, including taking care of your baby. It sounds strange, right? Because pumping every once in 3 hours or once in 2 hours, it sounds okay, but in reality it's not okay. You have to pump, then you have to pour this milk to the bottle, store the bottle, then you have to detach all the parts from the pump, go wash them, then go dry them and sterilize them in the sterilizer. After this, you'll have to collect the pump again, and then it's time for a new pumping session. I don't know how to explain that, but when you are pumping exclusively, it's so much work than breastfeeding. At first, it sounded easier, but in reality, it's so much more work, more time, and you are literally attached to the pump more than you are to the baby. So everything was going well. My grandma was here. She was able to help a lot while grandma and YOOFI were taking care of the baby. I had my time to pump. Then they could help me to wash the bottles. So we're managing it like that. Then my milk supply improved. I started having a lot of milk. I was able to switch fully to the breast milk and remove the formula from our life. The baby was only eating breast milk and enjoying it, but she was eating from the bottle. It's fine. Until some point where I started feeling that I am not spending enough time with the baby. I was supposed to bond with my baby, also bond through breastfeeding, and then also taking care of her, putting her to sleep, hugging her. So she knows who her mother is, she knows my scent and everything. But I didn't have none of that because I was literally pumping the whole time. My grandma was the one who was always taking care of her, always putting her to sleep, always like trying to rock her. And I started seeing that she started reacting to grandma more than to me. She was already reacting good to YOOFI because YOOFI was the first person in the hospital who like held her and he was taking care of her when I couldn't. So I started feeling so bad, and I started feeling another wave of guilt for the fact that I cannot bond with my baby, and my daughter doesn't know who her mother is. And I felt like there is no point in me. Like, okay, I'm pumping this breast milk and I'm just like a food provider, like a supermarket for my baby. I'm just like a, milk producer. And she cannot even feel that this milk is from me because I am not breastfeeding her, because it's other people who feed her with the bottle. I have nothing to do with this. I'm just sitting there in my chair and pumping. That was tough. Emotionally, that was really, really tough. I think that was like harder than all those physical pains that I felt. I was feeling so bad because I felt like we don't have that bond and I'm not able to provide that mother love to my baby, I was even talking to my grandmother that like, okay, I need to start taking care. And my grandmother is super protective. She wants us to rest and sleep and do nothing while she's taking care of baby, because it's like, I'm here for the short time, so use this opportunity. Let me take care of Maya. You guys go rest. She's like so intense. She wouldn't let us do anything. Even sometimes like we had to a little bit fight with her to get Maya to us, because it was crazy. Anyway, I'm super grateful to grandma that I was able to rest and to recover well and maintain my milk supply while she was helping us. She helped us so much. It was crazy. So at some point I came to my grandma and I told her like, okay, grandma, I feel like my daughter needs to spend more time with me. She doesn't know who her mother is and I want to bond with her more. I want to try taking care of her by myself. And I even started thinking about going back to direct breastfeeding from the breast. I started reading articles how to do that. I was crazy about it. I even tried. It was super tough. I tried for a few days and nothing worked out. And then all these problems, they became so small because mastitis came. First mastitis came. Guys, girls, oh my God. If you are about to give birth soon, you need to know what mastitis is. When your milk is not getting extracted properly or enough, your milk ducts, they become clogged and your breast become engorged. The milk is not coming out. It's just stuck inside your breast. This is lactostasis. Later, when it becomes worse and if you don't do anything with it, you start having mastitis. Mastitis is a crazy thing. It has all the symptoms of flu, very, very severe flu, and the fever is so high. It can go to 40, 41. When I had mastitis, my teeth were shaking, the fever was crazy, my back, all the bones, they were in pain, on fire. I was literally shivering like this, and my teeth. Couldn't do anything, I couldn't eat anything. I was waking up in literally wet bed. Not because I peed myself, but because I sweat so much because of the fever. Can you imagine when you are having this mastitis, you also cannot do anything. You cannot take care of the baby. In future, I had this mastitis 4 times. 4 times. Apparently, when you're exclusively pumping, you have more chances to get mastitis than when the baby sucks your breast. There are more reasons for that, you can Google. At some point, my grandma left, and then another mastitis happened. And now there is no grandma who is usually helping us. It's only 2 of us. I need to pump. I cannot take care of Maya at all because I'm pumping and I have mastitis. So YOOFI had to do all of that while I'm pumping and trying to recover from mastitis. At this point, YOOFI came to me and said, come on, Jane, it's not worth it. Let's stop breastfeeding. Let's move to formula. There is nothing bad. Maya ate breast milk for like 3 months or 4 months, I don't remember. He's like, let's stop it. It's not normal. This mastitis, when it happens, is super scary. And YOOFI couldn't look at this anymore. So he started convincing me to stop breastfeeding, move to formula. I agree. It's probably the best. I was about to start reducing my pumping. And I remember one time I feed Maya with my breast milk from the bottle. I just sit there, look at her, and she was so happy to eat this milk. Like, she was eating it. She was looking at me. She started doing this with her mouth, like she's enjoying this milk. And I was looking at her. I started like crying, and I was like, who am I to deprive my daughter from the breast milk? She already didn't have me in her life, like during the first week. It's very emotional. It took me time to recover from my emergency C-section and the fact that I couldn't be there for my daughter for the first week. So every time when I think about it, I go back to that guilt. So, come back to our breastfeeding story. I was looking at my daughter and I was like, who am I to stop the breastfeeding? She likes it so much. I promised to myself I'm gonna do it until she's 6 months old. Let me just continue. At that moment, I realized that emotionally, I was not ready to stop breastfeeding right now. When you are breastfeeding, you're not just who you was before. I don't know how to explain it, but at first it was so hard for me to accept the fact that my breasts now, they are producing something, food for another human being. I felt a bit weird about it. But later, when you see that milk in the bottles, like when you see the fridge full of those milk bottles, food for your baby, liquid gold that protects your baby from all the sicknesses, helps the baby grow beautifully. And when you are the one who is producing all of that, you cannot just like stand up and cut it all off. You need to prepare for it. You need to make peace with it. You need time for that. And I came to YOOFI, I said, nah, I'm not ready to stop right now. And I know that if I do now, I will feel so much more guilt later in the future, looking back. And I'm gonna be thinking, I wasn't able to complete my goal to feed the baby until she is 6 months old. So I decided to hit my goal, which was 2 more months to go. For these 2 months, I was going to prepare myself mentally to the fact that I'm going to stop breastfeeding and pumping. As soon as Maya hit this 6 months mark, I had this temptation to keep going, pumping, because at some point you get comfortable, but there is always this mastitis, which is, you know, behind your shoulder, just waiting for the right moment to jump and eat you again. But yeah, I gathered all my will together and I said, okay, I'm gonna stop pumping. Finish, we are done. Maya is 6 months old, my goal is complete, let's stop it now. And here it was another problem. I was trying to reduce my pumping, but I had so much milk that it was not drying up. I was like, come on guys, really? I worked so hard to first bring my milk supply to a good level, and now I have to also struggle to stop it? I was like, come on, please help me, somebody. It took me some time to figure out how to actually start reducing the amount of milk. At first, my pumping sessions were taking 30 minutes per session. Then I started reducing it to like 20 minutes per session for a few days, then less and less and less and less. And later I started removing some sessions. For example, if at first I had 8 sessions per day, then I started having 7 sessions per day. Then a few days later, I remove another one, and like this. Honestly, just listen to your body. I was just seeing if my breasts are getting engorged, if I feel any pain, if everything was going smooth, then I was reducing more sessions. The first 4 days are the most difficult because the milk is not getting extracted and gets stuck inside, and there is a big chance of having mastitis again, and I almost had it again, but I think my body had it so many times that it decided to just not now. We're not doing it again. We just went through it without mastitis. Thanks God. I think I spent around 1 month to fully stop my breastfeeding slowly. Right now, I am not breastfeeding anymore. I am not pumping. First, I was thinking I'm gonna be so happy when I'm gonna stop breastfeeding. When I actually started seeing the empty pumps, I was feeling so emotional. It felt like an end of some significant part of the life, which is never gonna happen again. You just finished something important, something big. It's not coming back. I don't know, it feels so crazy. It feels like some type of connection, some type of attachment to your baby is also gone with the breast milk, which is not true. Don't think like that. Opposite, my bond with the baby and connection with the baby when I stopped pumping actually improved, because now I have much more time to actually spend with her. I can be putting her to sleep all the time. I can be playing with her. I can be laughing with her. Like, I can spend so much more quality time with her. Yeah. When you are pumping, you need to be ready that somebody else needs to care of the baby, because it's going to be very, very challenging to do it by yourself when you are pumping. It was for me, maybe you can manage it. As soon as I stopped pumping, my relationship with the baby became so much more beautiful, and our connection became so much more like tighter. And every time I enter the room, she starts smiling. She's like happy to see me. She's always raising her little hand for me to pick her up. She's so happy with formula. I have so much less anxiety. I'm feeling so much more relaxed. I have so much more sleep, because after putting her to sleep in the middle of the night, I don't have to run and pump for 30 minutes, then go and wash those particles, then go and sterilize all. I don't need to do all that. I quickly make formula for her, I feed her, put her to sleep, and then I go to sleep with her. This is my breastfeeding journey from the start till the end. When I stopped it, it took me 7 months to do all of that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments, and I'll be happy to read your breastfeeding stories. I know that a lot of women, they will not find this video relatable, because I know that for most of the women, breastfeeding is a very natural and beautiful process. Unfortunately, it wasn't for me, and I know that it wasn't for so many other women. So share your breastfeeding experiences in the comments. Let's chat. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting our channel and for always showing interest to our life. Don't forget to subscribe, put like to this video, and let's chat in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.